Recording. Yeah, it looks like it's doing good.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So how do we want to do this? Do we want to talk first about process? Like how we decided to, like, the grading part? Not really.
I think we should just have a discussion amongst all of us, like as if we were presenting.
How do you even evaluate creativity? Because I think that's the root of what we're doing here.
It's true.
So how do you do it?
Well, that's what we've been doing for the past few weeks. Right?
Well, we talked about how each of us got to our end product. If it is our end product, if we think that it's good enough to be considered an end product. Yeah.
The product isn't really necessarily like that's not what we're aiming for. We don't really care about the final product.
It's kind of weird because that's all we got now.
Products.
That's true.
Yeah, all we got is a bunch of products. So really.
And how do they relate?
Do you think they have to connect to each other?
Mine definitely don't.
No, maybe.
But did they have to?
No.
We had to connect with the readings that we were doing, not necessarily.
So wait, that's a question though. I mean, like, do the readings actually? Do you think by us examining each one, making a product for each reading, or at least responding to each reading, have we tapped into some sort of right? Like, can we read into what the readings are by looking at our products of our responses to the readings?
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say not mine. Anyways, every time I did something, it's kind of not related to education or anything. It's just
But
that you're
what were you doing?
okay. So what I did was that I focused on a small element in whatever I was reading, and I kind of went off of that, and I didn't go with the general theme of the reading that I did. I just stuck with one sentence or a quote that really resonated or that made me think further about something else, but I didn't want to think about the whole reading.
If we're going to talk about the spark of creativity, are we talking about simply taking that moment in the reading where you go, that made me think of something else? Or like, so in that respect, does even the original reading's point matter?
I think they were more of a trigger than if that's what you're saying. Like, they triggered memories or stories or creative thoughts that you didn't have before, or maybe you did have, but they were like hidden and you just needed something to bring them out of you.
I have a feeling though that I don't remember all of yours, but even though you say no, there's no link between them. Like, I have a feeling most of them have, like mine, I think there's something going on, like obviously because they're personal. Like, there has to be something that links them together. I think so.
Well, it's all coming from you.
Yeah, it's all coming from me, but I mean, I don't know, maybe that's just me.
We've already established we're not actually dealing with final product, really.
No.
Yeah.
So the way we've gone about it really has been talking to each other about how we got there.
Yes.
And then within that, what's our criteria?
One of them was like able to defend your process.
Right, because in that respect, you could even be doing, you could say, well, I just threw a can of paint onto the ground and said, voila. But as long as there was some sort of purpose behind it, or a valid reason to it, rather than just, I had thought of nothing. I have thought of nothing is probably not a very good reason. Okay, well, we're talking about how we're evaluating our shit. So do we also see this as appropriate in any educational setting when we're dealing with the idea of creativity? Have we come across a methodology that works?
I'd be interested in looking at like how art teachers evaluate student work. Like, I remember being in art class, but I don't remember how my teacher would have evaluated me. And again, it's very subjective.
And even evaluating reflection and, like, I don't know, for me, whatever you're justifying your artwork to be, and where you've gotten, like, where you started and how you've gotten there, how am I going to tell you if you deserve the full, yeah. How do you evaluate that? the reflection part. You know what
Well,
I
I
mean?
should be able to recognize within you critical thinking. I mean, this is one of the big things we're always trying to get out of students. If we're trying to get critical thinking out of students, we should be able to see it. We should be able to recognize
But
it.
where's the criteria? From one student to another, it might be different.
And are you able to pick up on when a student is just
Faking it?
yeah putting a lot of bullshit into his papers?
I think that's where the debate comes in. If you can't defend it, then you haven't thought about it. I think that's what it comes down to. I think that's the only way you're going to get any kind of real objective view of the thing. Personally.
Yeah, it's true. Because for most of us, like, if we had just swapped whatever presentations each week, no one would know what's going on the paper.
Right.
Or rarely.
And I don't think that's about knowing the intimacies of, say, you show something that's personal to your life or something. I don't think that's what we're talking about. Right? It's not about knowing the little detail, know, the hidden meaning or something. It's about knowing what you were thinking on the way there.
I still think it's hard to, like, why would you deserve a 10 on your reflection and you an 8? Like, how do you? I'm not saying like it's just I'm throwing this out there.
It's definitely easier
tricky.
to evaluate
A product.
the end product.
Yeah.
Is it? Or is that more the teacher being a fake?
Yeah, well, I mean, because all of this has to do with personal interpretation of whatever we're doing.
Well,
So if you,
I don't know. I don't think like if you're evaluating the process that you're really now just being entirely subjective at that point.
no,
I think that's something I'd be able to recognize.
You are. I'm just saying that it's easier for you to justify why you gave that person that grade.
If it's an end product that you're
Yes.
evaluating rather than the process.
Because you weren't there during the process.
Exactly.
I almost feel like we should have always been recording our arguments.
Yeah,
That seemed
no,
more
it's
important
true.
than actually, because right now all we have is these final
And
And I
products.
can't remember.
Like I can't remember my process.
Now I gotta
remember
talk
the
to all you
day
again,
after.
and
It's true.
I would have to.
But I couldn't tell you how I got there. Always.
Not as precisely as when I did it.
Yeah.
Like when it was fresh in my mind. Right now it's just, oh yeah, I think I was thinking about that. Just kind of, there's no point. So then in real life, when we have students, like this is gonna be tricky, I think.
Well, yeah.
So then you ask them to keep track of them.
They're
Track of their
thinking,
work and their thinking.
critical reflections and everything.
But only for certain tasks, maybe.
Yeah, it works really well with architecture. That's all I remember.
So you could keep like a...
You had to keep kind of well, say you're making a building, you always had to keep your sketches and then the design development. And then so when you put the stuff on the wall, you didn't just show the building, you showed everything that led up to it so people could actually see that step-by-step process that led to it.
So
And
you
then,
actually look into their mind and like how they thought it all out.
yeah, that's what we need.
So
Yeah, we don't
basically
have that.
here we kind of made a mistake because we forgot, not a mistake, but we kind of
Say it, call it.
we skipped a step. It would have been nice to do a little bit of extra work and write down like our thinking,
Or just record.
or record it. Yeah.
Kind of like that we're saying that we kind of failed.
Well, we,
No,
we
but
didn't
it's true.
fail, but we forgot. Like right now we're saying this and we're like, okay,
No,
well,
it's great.
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
have the right to.
it's good to say that, yeah.
I know.
I like
I'm not
that.
saying it's not right.
In
I'm just saying-
retrospect, if
It
we
is a
were to
mistake.
do
No,
this,
that's a mistake. Totally, because
Yeah,
we can't
we
even go
learned
back
from
on
it.
it now.
if we were to do this again, that's something we would want to include.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now
So
we know.
at this point, for this like step in the game, we forgot something.
Mhm.
It's okay.
I know. I'm not saying it's not okay.
You're saying that we did make a mistake.
I don't like the word mistake. It was more like a.
What's wrong with mistakes?
It was a failure. Let it out.
It's a failure. We failed. No, I think it's funny because we were like so not proud, but we were like, oh yeah, we're doing this the right way. But then in the end, we're like, we kind of didn't. We kind of skipped over.
Well, I think personally, every time someone presented something, I know that at that time I did notice that that person was able to defend
oh yeah, definitely.
what they wanted to present. So
Yeah, we did at least go into it
yeah, exactly.
with
So I'm
mind.
like,
Okay, I'm going to talk about
oh, we
this.
didn't have time to talk about it. Oh, where's my process? I mean, we still had the time. We took the time to discuss it at that time, so it's not like it's totally lost.
Yeah, it wasn't
No,
bereft of
definitely.
any value. Say goodbye, guys.
Bye.